This one come out to my buddy Dennis. He's a big baseball fanatic, and the son of a bitch is probably drunk at home watching baseball right now. There's a pitcher and a catcher. These guys grew up since elementary school. They loved each other. Dennis was the catcher, Tom was the pitcher, man. And they played elementary school, high school, college. Never made it in the pros, but they played all the other teams and softball and everything. Sort of like my buddy Rich Lynn over there, but he's being quiet today. Anyway, as they got older, 80s, they always made a rule that if one of them passed before the other one, the other guy would come back and tell him if they had baseball up in heaven, you know? So he says, hey, well, sure as hell, Tom died. He was the pitcher. And Dennis is sleeping in bed one night, and he wakes up, he sees a flash of light, and he looks across the room, and he looks, that's Tom. Hey, Tom, is that you? Tom says, yes, Dennis, it's me. He says, you got any baseball in heaven? He says, oh, shit. So we play 5 nights a week, we play baseball. Baseball fields everywhere you can see. He said, it's great up there. Wow. Well, that's cool. He says, what have you been doing? Well, it's not looking good for you. You're pitching on Monday. Change glasses. They're both the same size. Oh, good thing I cheated. You know, the president had a teleprompter. I got me a teleprompter back there. We're moving up around here. Last year I had notes behind the speaker. This year I got a goddamn TV. This guy goes in the bar every day for 6 years. He's been in the bar for 6 years. Straight, every day. All of a sudden he don't show up for 2 years straight. The bartender says, he finally comes back and says, dude, where you been? He says, man, I've been home putting a jigsaw puzzle together. He says, well, how damn big is a jigsaw puzzle? 3 by 4? 3 by 4 feet? You know, what, the inches? What? He says, it shouldn't take that long, 2 years? He said, dude, I did it fast. It said 4 to 5 years on the box. Okay, this guy goes to say, this is back in the old days when you're going to heaven, which I don't think none of us sons of bitches are going to make it. Because I know there's some sinners out here, because I got my friends, I know how they roll. Yeah. But there's some Catholics here, that always makes it good, because the Catholics, you know, you say, I'm sorry, your ass is going to heaven. I say I'm sorry every time I go to bed. Before I get off Facebook for my mom reads my stuff. Anyway, this Mike, he goes up to St. Pete and he says, St. Peter, he says, you got any questions so I can get into heaven? And Mike says, well, I'll tell you what. St. Peter said, did you ever screw around on your wife when you were down on earth? Mike says, St. Peter, I never did. He said, no way in hell. I love my wife. I never screwed around. He says, well, you get to drive a Rolls Royce for the rest of your life in eternity because you were a good man. And I checked you out, and that's true. Paul comes up. He asked Paul, he said, did you ever screw around your wife when you were in eternity? Paul says, well, St. Peter, one time I was on a convention, I couldn't control myself, I lost it. I had a couple drinks, I screwed up, yeah, I did. He says, you know what, that's terrible. He said, you get to ride a Chevy for the rest of eternity because you couldn't keep your word. Third guy comes up, Jeff, and he says, Jeff, he says, did you ever screw around with your wife when you were down on earth? He says, St. Peter, he says, I got to be truthful. He said, every chance I did, I could. I had no control, man. He said, this thing was crazy. All of a sudden, one day, he's up there riding a bicycle. He rides his bicycle past, shut the fuck up over there, God damn it. Stick something in her mouth to shut her up, will you? Jesus Christ, you young people. So anyway, Jeff is riding his bicycle past Paul and the Rolls Royce, and Paul is in the Rolls Royce crying like hell. Jeff says, dude, he says, you're in a Rolls Royce. I'm riding a bicycle. What the hell are you crying about? He says, I know, I just passed my wife and she was on a skateboard.
Where you going?
Oh, yeah. I like stupid jokes. I always have. 2 guys are walking down the street and this hooker, she like, woohoo, shows her titty booms. And the one guy says, did you see that? Did you see that? The other guy goes, yeah, I did, man. Yeah, I did. He says, show her your nuts. He said, you think I should? He goes, yeah. That's probably 5th grade. Here's a ladies' joke right here. Ladies, do you know the difference between an ooh and an ah? About an inch. You know the difference between purple and pink? The grip. 2 old gals gals are out digging, working their ass off in the garden, and they're digging up potatoes and shit, you know, and the one old gal, she pulls out this great big ass potato. She goes, oh my God. The other lady says, are you okay? Are you okay? She says, this potato, she says, it reminds me of my husband's balls. The other lady said, holy shit. She said, that big? She said, no, that dirty. Guys in the bar, Mom, quit watching your watch. You might not be here tomorrow. Enjoy the night. God damn, have a cocktail, will you? The guy comes in at a party. What the hell? You screwed me up, Kevin. I lost myself. I already did the potato, lady. Yeah, there you go. No, I already did that. Don't give him any more drinks. He's worse than me. Shit.
Frozen old lady's potato.
Now he's seized. Hey, asshole, put the picture. That's a real good fucking friend right there. Tony the Tiger. Got finger dirty, got a date the same night, now he's in love. What's it, you know, this lady, she goes to the doctor, and the doctor says, George, he told her husband, he says, I don't know, I've done multiple tests on your wife. You ain't gonna be able to watch that shit tomorrow anyway. Your girlfriend's gonna make you turn that stuff off. It's dirty, it's dirty. Says, the doctor says, George, he says, I don't know if your wife has Alzheimer's or if she has AIDS. George says, doctor, that's a big damn difference. He said, I need to know, what does she have? He says, well, I'll tell you what. He says, I'll tell you, if I was you, what I would do, we've done all the ultimate tests. He says, I can't tell. He says, I would take her out to Genesee Valley Mall, drop her off. If she makes it home, don't sleep with her no more. Yeah, I have a blow-up doll in my house. When I get liquored up, I go home, let it out, punch a hole in it. Plays hard to get, but I always win the game.
It's still a what, you know?
I ain't gonna say that one. That's too dirty. How do you know you have a high sperm count? When she chews before she swallows. I gotta talk to these writers. You know what I mean? These writers are tearing me up. You just got it, didn't you? She's like, oh my God, Uncle Kirk is crazy as hell. All the way from Kalamazoo right here. This guy's in the bar, he sees this woman down there reading this book, you know, he's like, oh man, he says, I'd love to read that book. What's she doing? Send her a beer. I'd like to meet that beautiful woman. She don't even look up. Bartender says, send her another drink. Another $4.25. Finally, this guy can't take it. She's not looking it up at all. She just wants to read this book, you know. He goes over, he says, hey, he says, excuse me. He says, what is that book you're reading? He says, it must be very interesting. I send you a couple drinks and no one, he didn't say thanks or nothing. She says, oh my God, it's called Penises from Around the World. He goes, okay, that's okay. He didn't know what to say to that one, you know. He says, well, did you learn anything? She said, oh my God, I've learned so much. She said, do you know Polish men have really short ones, but they got a lot of girth? And American Indians have really long ones, but they're super skinny. He goes, oh, that's cool. She said, I'm sorry. She said, thank you for the drink. She said, what's your name? He said, Tonto Kowalski. This here guy, I love this joke. This is the funniest joke. I think it's one of my favorite jokes I tell. When I'm liquored up, trying to impress the women, I tell them this joke. It never works very well. This here guy, he goes in, he meets this lady of the evening on the street, and he says, how much is it for straight sex? She said, that'd be $50. He said, honey, he says, I don't have $50. He says, how much for one of them things they call a BJ? He said, that'd be 20. She said, that'd be 25. He said, honey, I ain't got $25. Wow, she says. How much? He said, for a hand job? She said, well, that'll be $10. He said, honey, I ain't got $10. She said, shit, man, how much money you got? He said, I got $8. She said, I'll give you a pink one. He said, a penguin? What the hell is a penguin? She said, give me that $8, I'll show you. She pulls his pants down, gets him all fired up, and he's like that. And she all of a sudden backs away, and he goes, hey, where you going? Where you going?